I'm Ali Nafaripur. Welcome to this comprehensive Revit 225 tutorial. Today is the very first day of Farvardin 1404. First and foremost, I want to sincerely congratulate you on the new year and wish abundant health and profound peace for you and your entire family. And I truly hope that, God willing, this upcoming year brings many wonderful and positive good things into our lives and that our collective situation keeps getting progressively better and better, year after year. You. In these past few years, we've experienced a lot, and some really strange things have happened. I hope, as I said, that this year will be a year when really good things happen for our country, for ourselves, for our families, for everyone. I wish everyone health. First and foremost, I wish everyone peace, and I'm going to give you a course, just as you might remember, or maybe many of you don't know. The Revit tutorial for 2016 was our group's very first training, and that was the start. A lot of our story began from there. And from that time, the training session started, and many years have passed since then. And I've tried to update this Revit tutorial after all these years and make its topics new, so that it would be interesting for many of you and you wouldn't get bored of watching it and you'd be able to keep going. Continuing this journey is very important to me, that you can truly keep going and really master the powerful Revit software. I've diligently tried to structure this comprehensive course across 3 distinct different disciplines, especially within its second crucial chapter. And at the very same time as we're actively working on the primary project, we can also diligently perform the detailed drawings and comprehensive modeling for the essential structural and MEP parts as well. Whether it's mechanical systems or electrical systems, both electrical and... I hope this training is interesting and useful for you, but regarding the first chapter, let me tell you. The first chapter is designed for someone who has never worked with Revit at all. I've thought and structured it in such a way that you can build a good connection with Revit, because Revit has a lot of tools, a lot of commands, and honestly, for someone who wants to work with this software, if we start by teaching them all the tools right from the beginning, they'll get completely discouraged from Revit, and I'm sure if they don't get it, they won't continue. And even if they do, they'll definitely run into problems in the second phase. They lose the motivation to continue, get tired, and just give up altogether. After all these years of experience, I've realized that most of us like to use what we learned somewhere practical. Our patience is extremely low, really extremely low. It's low and we don't have the patience for long lessons, so I've realized that training needs to be practical. And right from the very first session, the person shouldn't just watch the videos like a movie or a TV series. From the very first session, they should start working on the project, and as each session goes by, that's the beauty of it. They should feel that they're learning everything and actually using it. That practical application is really important. So, for my Revit course, for now, only the first season has been released, and I've uploaded it. So if you are watching this video right now, the very first season has already finished, and God willing, I will certainly start working on the second season very soon indeed. Right now, I'm summarizing the topics. It's a bit heavy, and I also want to teach it in a way that's engaging and very concise. I truly want it to be very useful and extremely concise and brief, so it doesn't become boring and you can actually learn something valuable. So keep in mind that I've paid a lot of attention to these points. The next topic is even about using Neurostar in Revit and architecture. I can say that over all these years, I've seen a lot and have used Revit in various ways. Back when Revit first came out, many people only used it for modeling, just to be able to get sections, elevations, plans, and do some basic tasks, or a lot of people. They would model in Max, then bring it into Revit, export to AutoCAD, and get sections and construction documents from there. But you could say, I think it's been about 4 or 5 years now that many architecture firms have been working on some of their projects based on BIM, and they generate their final booklets and documents directly from Revit, and no longer. There's really no need for us to have to draw or model so many things anymore. It's like hitting several targets with one shot. Imagine before, you would draft a plan in AutoCAD, then do the modeling in 3ds Max, then render with, say, V-Ray, and then hand it off to someone else to do a bunch of calculations in Excel. But now, Revit handles all these processes for us instantly, and gradually, this approach is catching on, both among architects and clients. They're starting to realize that having a super realistic render isn't what's important. What's important is being able to get building information from a project. For example, with the project I've just designed, how many square meters of tile does it need? How many square meters of ceramic did I use? How many square meters of this or that material did I use? What's the price of this or that item? How much is it? How much will the total cost be? Overall, how long will project management take? And many other topics. So gradually it's becoming established, and thankfully, things are moving in this direction, that rendering isn't important at all. There are so many other factors in the world right now that matter in architecture and construction. Architecture and construction aren't about painting or things like that at all. So I talked about the application and philosophy of Revit, what its main purpose was, and which direction it has gone. I'm not saying it's going in that direction, it's already been there for quite a while. It's been about 4 or 5 years now that many architecture firms have been using it. They carry out their projects using BIM. When I say BIM, it doesn't necessarily mean that structure and MEP have to be included as well. No, it can just be architecture, but even just the architecture part really helps us move forward. I'll give a brief explanation about this topic, but let's continue with... I've uploaded the Revit objects that I've collected over the past few years for you to download. You can use them, and in the description, if you go here, I've put an introduction video for this package that you can watch and download. Guys, it's completely free. Let me make this clear, it's totally free and you don't need to pay anything for it. All you need to do is register on our website and download these packages. There are about 25,000 Revit objects and they're extremely useful. Make sure you download them. Save them in a file on your computer so you can use them later. These are Revit objects and Revit templates, which I've included for you at the end here so you can use them. I'll even give you an explanation about installing the Revit software, and in one section of the software you can come and... We've provided the Revit software, we've uploaded all the software on our website. But in addition to the written installation guide, I've also uploaded a video tutorial for installing the software. Many of you might have had Revit 2024, or some of you had Revit 2018, or maybe you didn't have it at all. From a certain version onward, Autodesk standardized and unified its crack. That means almost all of them are cracked in the same way, so you need to pay attention. When you want to install Revit 255, you might encounter some errors and messages. It will tell you that this can't be installed, so make sure to pay attention. You absolutely must before you start the installation, and if you get a license error, meaning the Autodesk license is automatic, disable or remove it. Then you'll be able to install Revit very easily. Let me also tell you that there's absolutely no problem with having multiple versions of Revit installed. It's totally fine. And actually, by its very nature, Revit fundamentally doesn't allow you to open project files from a newer software version in an older, previously released one. But overall, just so you are fully aware and completely understand, a file that was originally created in the year 2025 absolutely cannot be opened in the earlier version of 2024. A file that's worked on in 2024 also can't be opened in 2023. It can only be opened in its own version and in higher versions. Why has Revit done this and not allowed opening files in lower versions? It's because Revit says since my software is fully parametric and everything is based on mathematics, numbers, references and formulas, since everything in my software is formula driven, I can't update to a new version and change the entire set of formulas. That means you might see a formula added in a new version that didn't exist in the previous version. So if Revit tries to open a higher version file in a lower version, it will run into problems. So I decided to make it so that lower versions can't save or open higher version files. So the user won't be able to do it anymore. They have to open it with the same version so they can use those formulas and parameters. To explain a bit more, it's like you have a wall with a set of settings. For example, its height goes from one point to another. Its thickness is a certain way. Its material is set a certain way. Well, didn't Revit already give us the same output for quantity takeoff? Didn't it give us the same output for details? Can't we do the structure with it? So, when a parameter is added to the wall, like having a baseboard, maybe the older version didn't have a baseboard. Well, when that baseboard is added as a parameter and included in the items, it then affects all the calculations, like the quantity takeoff and its tables. So for this reason, Revit has its own specific version, and there's no problem having several versions. I have 2 versions of Revit, 2 versions of Lumion, and 2 versions of Photoshop, so that if I ever need to work on a project, I can do it. Also, in case one version acts up, I can quickly switch to the other version of Revit. We have no choice. We absolutely have to have other versions, because if we're working on a project, we need to be able to open the file with the same version, save it in that version, and send it to the other person. So this is a really important point. This is about installing Revit, and if you run into any issues, just message us. I'll help you out. If you can't do it yourself, I'll connect to your system with any desk and get it sorted for you. So don't worry about installing Revit. As much as I can, I'll guide you on how to install it, but now let's get to Revit. And I told you about the objects, and let me give you a general explanation so we can get started with the software, as I mentioned before. Here you can see our website and the package and objects on the site that I told you to download. But here, there are some Phase 2 plans that will be very useful for you. If I want to explain the second season package to you, it's basically about this Phase 2 discussion. So imagine you have a project. In the end, you prepare a set of sheets and print out that booklet. It consists of a set of documents like this, where there are some explanations about the plans, a list of drawings, a finishing schedule, then other plan information, a checklist, energy, I'm not sure, maybe a title where the owner's name is written, the site plan, and the north arrow, and so on. Then there's the plan, the reflected ceiling plan, and I don't know, the furniture layout, dimensioning, phase 2, shape layout, and various details of the ceiling, column connections, structure, and I don't know, sections, staircases, and many other things. I've put different examples for you. Do you have them? You can see that it's done things like typology and these kinds of things for us. Well, if someone wants to do this in AutoCAD, it's going to be a real pain for them. But if they can get these outputs with Revit, it's smooth sailing, and honestly, it's amazing. I'm telling you, it's incredible. I've included this just to give you an idea so you can see. Look, it's also available on our website. You can download it, but I'll also include it in the practice session file for you. But if you want to get it from the website, you'll need a subscription, so you'll have to subscribe to our site. But I've put it in the practice session for you. So this was an explanation about this topic that I mentioned to you. Now let's go and open the Revit software. After you've installed the Revit software, in the next sessions, I'll lower myself a bit on the screen and I won't be visible in the video anymore. Because there's no need for it. It's better if it's not there, since it would just distract you, and there's really no reason for it to be included. I don't want us to have a casual chat where we see each other. I just want to see the software environment. As soon as you've installed the software and it opens up, when you click on New, you can create a new project which might be set to default or blank for you. We need to have a template and a Revit environment for ourselves so that we can work in it. If I select other options, for example here it says Metric Multidiscipline, if I choose that and click OK, AA, template means it has set up an environment for me that includes different disciplines. And well, the template itself is a bit heavy and has a lot of things included in it and we can use them. I don't know. It has added sheets. Look here, it has prepared various sheets. I don't know. It has set up the levels, prepared the plans, and many other things. For example, if I want to draw a wall, it might have different types of walls in the template that we don't have in the regular templates. For example, this one. Like this kind of wall that you see here. I don't know, maybe in a hidden state like this with different things. But the template that I provided for you, let me close this from here. If I close this one too and save the file, it will be closed. But the template that I provided for you, is the suitable template for our first chapter. For those who are just starting to work with Revit, I haven't yet prepared the template for the second chapter. I haven't prepared it for you yet. I'm working on it so that, God willing, it'll be ready soon. But how do we bring in this template? Here. When we want to start the project, for it to come from here, you should click on the back section, then from the file section, go to options, and these options will tell you to go to the file location section. And from here, click the plus sign, which is add value. Click on add value. And here, you need to put that Revit file, the template you downloaded, in a specific place in the folder. For example, where did I put it myself? I went to my drive. This is my file, the Revit object. This is the Revit object that I downloaded. Guys, look, how big was it? We downloaded it. It's about 8 gigabytes, almost 9 gigabytes. This is the default metric 2024, 2025, 2009. I'll select 25 and click open. So you need to click on open. After you click open, it gets added here. Look, here the default metric is 20 to 25. You can also rename it here, and then you click OK. Click on this. Then when you click new, it's already here, and it comes up very easily. You just confirm it and it's done. We enter the Revit Navisworks. Okay, if I want to give you an overall introduction to the Navisworks environment in Revit, this is the first chapter. I'm not going to go through the commands one by one, and I definitely haven't explained the tools either. Why? Let me explain this to you first, so you understand. Look, when I select the wall to draw a wall, when I start drawing in Revit, I have a lot of parameters over here on the right side. Put it here. If I move my image, you'll see there are a lot of parameters on the right side. There are a ton of parameters here on this side. Then when I go into the wall's edit type, there are a whole bunch of things going on here. When I click this edit, there are a lot of details here. And when I click this one, again, there are a lot of things happening here. When I open this one, again, there are a lot of things going on here. Honestly, look, if I want to teach you Revit like this, you'll never be able to learn it. You'll never be able to learn it this way. Do you get what I'm saying? If I come and, for example, tell you, okay, this is a wall. What are the wall drawing tools? What are the types of walls? Then I come and tell you about doors. This is a door. And then explain how to make it, what its parameters are. Well, you learn about walls, then you move on to doors, and you'll definitely forget about walls. You'll forget about it. If I tell you about windows, you learn windows, but then you forget about walls and doors. If I tell you about components, you'll completely forget about windows, doors, and walls. If I come and tell you things one by one like this, you'll forget them. Absolutely. You'll forget them for sure, you won't remember, and that's how most tutorials are. He said it's 99.9%. All the problems in teaching that I've seen from Iranian Revit users are like this. They go through every single icon one by one. They explain all the commands, everything in a very complete and excellent way, but the audience doesn't remember any of it, can't learn it at all, really can't learn it, and honestly, it's useless. So from the very first session, we'll start working. I didn't explain it to you in that way. Okay, let me tell you a few other things before you even get into Revit at all. It's possible that your properties panel might be here, meaning I can grab it from up here and bring it down here. It turns blue and it can be here. And look, if you click here, you can see both properties and project. This is the project. This is properties, properties, project, properties, project. These are the two items that we work with a lot. But in Revit, let me tell you this in the first chapter, it's really interesting. So what is it? In the first chapter, we want to work on how we're going to learn Revit, how we're going to do a project. If you're interested, definitely check it out. Have you worked with Revit before? Yes, I've seen it just in passing. Take a look. It might be strange and interesting for you. Here we need to grab this, bring it out and drop it here. Grab this, drop it, bring it here. And grab this one, drop it, bring it here as well. Here, I personally put my levels on the left side, meaning I place them on the left like this so they don't get lost in the corner, and I put the properties panel like this. This is how I work myself. I keep the properties panel on this side because it's easier for me. I tend to lean to the right all the time. It's easier for me. I'm not really into having things on the left side. Overall, why? Because in Max, the panel is also on the right side. I'm used to the right side since I work with Max a lot. I personally put it on this side, but honestly it's a matter of preference. You have to try it out yourself. See which one you're more comfortable with, because if you don't know Revit and haven't worked with it yet, If you watch the first chapter, you'll figure out whether you're more comfortable with this side or that side. Get yourself ready for the second chapter, where we're going to work with real Revit. That's that. Let me also give you some general explanations about these items. For example, if this disappears or is gone. What can you do? Come on? Go to the view section and check this box here so it shows up. See, it's the properties. If something disappears and you see these, you don't need to touch them. All of these can be increased or decreased. For example, there's a line or a gap here. If I click remove, the line between these two gaps will be removed and I can add another line. What's the point of that? Why would I need it? I want to learn this. There's no need to touch anything at all. Don't mess with any part of the environment. We'll go through it step by step in the project. All of you will understand what this does, what that does. In the first chapter, when we worked on the project, we didn't use it even once. Should I even explain this one to you? What is this? Why? Maybe we don't even need it. Maybe it's not useful for our work. For now, should I tell you this or should I not? I haven't told you this, I haven't mentioned it, but I've explained the rest. When something is needed, I'll tell you about it in Revit. If you put this part at the bottom of Revit, I can bring it over here myself. There's no need for this part here. Why should I even make a video about it for you? We did a whole chapter, a whole project together, and not even once did we come to this section. Why should I tell you everything right now? Whenever we need something in Revit, I'll explain it to you. So don't worry about this. Chapter 1 is designed so that we can complete a project, the one you've seen pictures of, and finish it. I don't see anything else special in the settings to tell you about, except maybe just to talk about shortcuts. Shortcuts are in the Customize section. Here, you search for 3D, and then you click here, and you assign Q here, and that's it. Now, with Q on the keyboard, I can quickly access it. Why? Because, as you can see, my hand is positioned like this on the keyboard. So sometimes I hit it with this finger, or sometimes with that finger. Sometimes I press it with my thumb, sometimes with this finger, and then I hit Q. Basically, my hand is on the Q. So, my hand is like this on the Q, and since my hand is already on Q, I assign it for 3D. It makes things much more comfortable for my hand. So when I press Q, I go into 3D, and when I'm in plan view, I press Q again. I press Q. It's really easy to switch between plan and Q, and it's much more comfortable for my hand. I can quickly switch to 3D. So set up this shortcut and keep it that way for yourself. So you can get your hand used to it, and that's all we need. God willing, we'll start the first session. Let's start the project. Thank you so much for staying with me. Let's get started with Revit. See you for now. Goodbye.